considered. "I guess. I don't have any brothers and sisters, so I don't know." "You're just like Jack," Paris said. "He doesn't have any brothers and sisters either. But that's why the street gets to be his whole family, which is pretty amazing." Jack had been lying at their feet, ears back as he looked for squirrels in the growing bare trees. But at hearing his name, he picked up his head and barked a brief contribution to the conversation. "See?" Paris said. "Jack totally agrees. Pretty amazing." She scratched behind Jack's ears, just to set his tail wagging and his tongue lolling out. Teddy said, "I wonder if Jack would want to make friends with the bats." "I don't know," said Paris dubiously. "He doesn't like squirrels all that much, and I feel like bats are just flying squirrels." "No, flying squirrels are flying squirrels," said Teddy. "Bats are totally different." "I guess bats are more like flying mice then," suggested Paris. "And Mrs. Pahuta's cats go after the mice, and Mrs. Pahuta says Jack doesn't like her cats. So maybe Jack does like mice. And maybe he would like flying mice." Paris looked at Jack thoughtfully. Jack wandered off to investigate whether anything interesting might have wandered into the back of the garden. "Doesn't matter," Teddy said. "We wouldn't even know how to get into the attic." On the morning of the Natural History Museum field trip, Teddy and Sam left the house and almost immediately ran into Mr. Hammersley, heading down the street. Since Mr. Hammersley rarely left his house, Sam said in surprise, "Oh, hello." "Hello," Mr. Hammersley said, as if they ran into each other every morning. "Hi, Mr. Hammersley," said Teddy happily. "We're going to the Natural History Museum today." Teddy was looking tremendously forward to this trip. Sam was so relieved and happy. It was like having his child back, frankly. Mr. Hammersley said, "Well, have fun then," and resumed walking down the street. And Sam couldn't help it. He said, "And where are you going?" because he was too curious not to ask. "I'm working on an art project," said Mr. Hammersley, and kept walking. Sam started walking up the street with Teddy, but he did turn around just to see where Mr. Hammersley went, which was to Max and Arthur's door. "Will wonders never cease?" thought Sam in astonishment. The classroom was barely organized chaos, with a bunch of overexcited children all conversing with each other at top volume. Miss Quinn came up to Sam and said, "Ah, Mr. Bishop, hello," and handed him a piece of paper and a laminated drawing of a fish with a safety pin through it. "These are the children you're responsible for. You are Team Barracuda. Pin it to your shirt, please." "Barracuda?" echoed Sam. "Don't read anything into it," said Miss Quinn with a quick smile, and then shouted, "Team Barracuda, over here." Teddy and 4 other children obediently came to stand in front of Sam, all of them still chattering excitedly. "Hi," Sam said to them. They barely acknowledged his presence. Teddy wasn't really participating in the chattering, but he didn't look like he minded. He did wave across the room to Paris Barshark, who was clustered next to her mother, also chaperoning the trip. Sam glanced at the other 2 parents chaperoning, and noticed they were both men, which was maybe sexist of him. He certainly hadn't expected to be the only father chaperoning, but he hadn't expected the majority of the chaperones to be men. And, as he watched, he noticed what seemed to him to be, well, an enormous amount of flirting with Miss Quinn going on. She seemed to parry everything gracefully and move on, but it struck Sam at that moment how horrible and arrogant and rude he was being. To show up at Miss Quinn's workplace and assume that she wanted to be distracted with flirtation while she was trying to do her job. Sam felt like basically the worst person ever for having had the idea, which was why he studiously avoided Miss Quinn as they moved to the coach and took their seats. She had a lot to deal with today, and she deserved to be allowed to do her job. Dear Barshark sat next to him on the coach and smiled and said, "Hello." "Hi,"